up, motherfucker.
Yo, what's up? What's up? It is February 19th, 2026. Okay, late night. Let's do it. Late night show. Oh, okay. So nothing interesting happened today, okay, in the markets. And let's continue on our philosophical journey. And so yesterday, Eric W. said, like, he's starting to understand. He's starting to understand what I'm doing here when I'm reading charts. And he compared it to looking at camel, which tracks the Amazon prices, and you kind of have a chart history of the prices. You could probably do all the analysis I'm doing here and apply it to anything, right? Because price is just an agreement between two parties, just like the price of a stock, a bond, gold, silver, anything. And so I think it's time to discuss a little bit about looking at volume in more detail. So maybe you autistic people might like this one. I personally don't use this technique. I came across it about maybe 2, 3, possibly 4 years ago. One way people track or trade is through the order book. Okay. The order book gives you like all the flows from the tape. So this is real tape reading. What I'm doing with the charts is kind of like a pseudo way of tape reading, right? It's not the true tape. I don't see the orders coming in. You have to remember, back in the old days, people literally had a tape coming out that tick for tick, everything, every order that came through, they analyzed it. So that was tape reading. That's what Wyckoff did in real life. We don't have that anymore. Everything's kind of abstracted away. You just see like a bar that shows up based on accumulative like data for like, so if I have a 1 day candle, I lose all the data within that day, right? I don't know what's going on that day. If I have a 1 second data, I don't know the nanosecond, millisecond. I don't know how fast these transactions come in. I don't have all that data. You can use an order book. The problem with that is it requires you to get a service. Like you can get it from your broker. Like I think TD Ameritrade, if you use Think or Swim, you get some kind of order book. You get maybe level 2, and you probably have to pay more for level 3. You probably can use a third-party service that supposedly gives you even more data. And there's going to be other services that quote unquote give you dark pool data. Dark pool meaning outside the market. Okay, people trading privately outside the market, not in an exchange like the NYSE, so New York Stock Exchange, or NASDAQ. They trade outside of it. So if I have a big order, I don't want it exposed in the NASDAQ or NYSE. I want to hide it, or because I know there's a private party willing to buy all my shares or sell to me the shares, I do it in the dark pool. When you have like really bad liquidity issues, usually it gets exposed on the NYSE and NASDAQ. So a lot of times you see the huge volume that comes in when the NASDAQ or S&P crash. They usually go into the ETFs because ETFs provide the most volume. So usually you should see huge spikes come in volume. That means people are buying it aggressively because they can't find people willing to sell them shares. They want those shares anyway. They have to expose themselves in the light. So that's how you tell like there's a significant bottom, right? When in last April, you could see it. Go to look at the QQQ and SPY or the VOO, VTI, all the popular ETFs that people use. Okay. ETFs make it so easy now to tell when there's a bottom because everyone's so conditioned to buy the dip, and retail boomers and novices who don't know anything about picking stocks, they usually just jump into ETFs. That's how they do it. So anyway, long story short, we'll continue on and discuss that. What's up, Abiola? What's up? What's up? Anyhow, yeah. But I'm gonna have a bunch of videos today too. So we're gonna talk about Epstein and other stuff. That's what we're gonna talk about. It's a prelude to what we're gonna have. Okay, I'm gonna change my banner here. Let me edit this out. So, if you don't know, Universal Jones has on his channel, Be Better Network, he discusses BOIT. So that means the bottom of YouTube. So it's going to be mostly about the psychology of people who stream in this area of the internet, the bottom of YouTube. And Napstar is going to have another stream where he's going to cover some of your favorites. You know, who knows? We could cover. He probably is going to cover 777, Mooncake. What else? Anybody in the Thorpe sphere like Jeremy, TK. Who knows? So I'm going to put this up. All right. And it's going to be. Oh, hold on. I got to put the day. It's the 21st. Okay. It's February 21st. All right. That's a Saturday. Saturday, February 21st. All right. Okay. So I put that banner up there. Okay. So stay tuned. We have other types of content for you guys. Who is 777? Oh, my Lord. You don't know 777? Like basically Imperius's cousin or something. There's another Imperius out there. I guess you don't know who that is. Oh, should you? Well, he was on the same panel as Grace Thorpe like the other 2 days ago. So if you don't know the Black Sphere and all of that, he usually hangs out over there. But yeah, he's getting more involved now again. He comes in cycles too. He disappears, he comes back. He disappears, he comes back. So this is the time of 777. He's back and he's making a lot of noise. He interviewed Lowe a week ago. So yeah, he's not like Imperius. I don't know. He sounds like Imperius. All you white boys sound the same. He's also Italian from what I know. So there's a lot of comparisons. Boisterous, kind of egomaniac, pretty much the same to me. Same shit. Had to mute myself for a little bit. I was getting some crackers to eat. Okay. Now, let me start off with a video. I was watching Vitali. Who's Vitali? Imperius is Italian? Yeah, he's Italian. That's why he's Catholic. Yeah. Yeah. People who know Imperius from way back when, yeah, they know he's Italian. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We got lots of videos to cover. Fuck. Which one to start with? Top of IP2 right now. Yeah, I don't follow that IP2 stuff. Yeah, I really don't. Like outside of like Gucci's or like Andy Dick when Kino Casino covered them, I don't cover that shit. So I noticed today there were like these streamers talking about the new British far right party. I think it's what's this called? Freaking hell. Oh man, I don't know what it's called. Jesus. I know, okay, so Reform is Farage's party, right? So Reform is Farage. So what's the new one called? New party. New blah blah blah. Okay. New far right. Right. UK party with Rupert Lowe. Restore Britain. Okay, Restore Britain. That's the new far right. UKIP 2.0, yeah, or 3.0, I guess. Know who Imperius is in real life? No, I don't know who. I mean, everybody keeps claiming they know who he is. I don't know. You can talk to Garion. I mean, all the Discord guys probably like have whole kinds of feelers. Like everybody claims they want to dox him or stuff. So all the Discord people can deal with that. I'm not on Discord. I don't know. None of you guys waste so much time on these faceless PFPs like me, I guess. Yeah. All right. you guys got to know, who is this person? It's like, what the fuck? Who cares? Well, God damn. Man. Anyhow, okay, so, and we also have the arrest of Prince Andrew. He got arrested on his birthday. So this is the video that I don't know if you know who this person is, but let me just play the video. Maybe you know.
Monarchy survive the arrest and potential prosecution of Prince Andrew. Over the centuries, over more than a millennium, our monarchy has gone through various vicissitudes. It has seen houses rise and fall. It's seen dynasties collapse. I have next to me a handkerchief that was dipped in the blood of Charles I at his execution on the 30th of January 1649. It managed to come back even from that, even from 11 years of republicanism. It managed to survive James II with a new monarchy being formed essentially by Parliament, essentially an elective monarchy that follows from 1689 onwards. But this is a modern age. Modern sensibilities, belief in hereditary power are so much weaker than they were. And the question for the monarchy is, does it serve a useful purpose? And what is the importance of the subsidiary members of that family? If you look back over the last century, it worked actually really very well. That the Queen, her father, her grandfather, who covered almost all of the century, 90 of the 100 years, provided stable leadership, constitutional continuity, and a family who could represent them with dignity. Look at some of the film of the royal dukes, of Princess Alexandra carrying out duties in the 1960s and the 1970s. They were effective, popular representatives of the sovereign who made sure that the sovereign's touch reached out to the whole country. And the sovereign's touch is important. It's historically interesting because the king, last done actually by Queen Anne, used to touch for what was known as the king's evil, for scrofula, because it was believed the king's touch could cure. And we still have that vestigial feeling that the touch of the anointed sovereign is in some sense a blessing, and that was spread out through a family who people respected and admired. People called Royal Highness, people bowed or curtsied, they were polite to, they followed strict court etiquette around, not because of the individuals themselves, but because of their nearness to the crown, because they were close to an anointed sovereign. And the anointing is important because it's symbolic that the king and the queen and her father and grandfather before her were chosen by God, that they were sacramentally important rather than politicians who are here today, gone tomorrow, and that those close to them, therefore, were touched by that and could represent it. They weren't it, they could become it by hereditary, but they weren't it, but they were touched by it, and they brought you closer to the sovereign. That requires a family that is broadly well behaved. Now, this is now a live case. The sub judice rules are as they are. Inevitably, one has to be very careful about what one says and wouldn't wish in any way to prejudice any case that may come against the former Prince Andrew. But it is fair to say that his reputation did not enhance that of the monarchy, nor did people think that he was somebody who made them feel that the House of Windsor was particularly moral or lustrous. And this is damaging because the king cannot do it on his own. He can do the constitutional side on his own. He can see the Prime Minister, he can hold the Privy Council, he can open Parliament, he can be there to encourage, to be informed, of course, and to warn, those key constitutional roles set out by Badgett. But he can't be around the country enough to bring that royal touch that holds monarchy in our hearts as well as in our minds. And that has always been important. If you think back to how the Tudors understood monarchy, how Elizabeth I understood monarchy, in a much smaller population. She regularly moved around the country. She had her portraits dispersed around the country so that people felt that connection to monarchy. This, of course, was true with the late Queen, whom famously said she had to be seen to be believed. But that rested upon a family. And from Victoria...
Okay, I mean, I think for Americans, they really don't understand this, right? There's kind of a symbolic link that ties England and the whole United Kingdom, I suppose, for the subject to their monarch. So if that symbol gets destabilized, I wonder what would happen, right? And I don't know if, like, how people are taught history. When I was taught history in America, you know, we jumped from the Magna Carta all the way to the Revolution. Like, we skipped a lot of stuff. And you have to remember, in between the Magna Carta and the Revolution, American Revolution, George III, there was Oliver Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell was 100 years before the United States had its revolt. So the English Civil War. And during that time, you know, a lot of things happened where people started questioning monarchy. And so that planted a lot of seeds in people's minds, you know, and for a short period, the UK became a Commonwealth, okay? Well, it wasn't even the UK then, it was just Great Britain and plus Ireland, I guess. Plus Ireland meaning like Cromwell just went over there and invaded Ireland. That's another story. So for the most part, yeah, there was something called the Commonwealth where England became a republic. And now we're at a crossroads again in the UK. And the reason I bring this guy up and I show this thing, you know, I don't even know if you even listen to the dude, because like he's talking very stuffy, very erudite, you know, upper class speech here, which I don't know if it resonates with anybody outside of a certain circle in England, you know, and Alex Jones always made fun of them, right? So Alex Jones, he always had these British accents. These were great.
Talked to Lord Monckton last night, and I said, has Al Gore been thrown off the cliff and totally destroyed like Humpty Dumpty, or is he at the edge, tipping? And Lord Monckton basically said that he is on the ground. He has fallen. Humpty Dumpty hasn't had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men can't put man, bear, pig back together again. The sun does not affect the climate. We have said so. No proof, we say so. They're literally like, oh, good Lord, as a rabble go, put more fluoride in their water immediately. Brain damage to them. Their IQs aren't dropping enough or fast enough. They're not submitting to us. Yeah. More surveillance cameras, more armed troops, more police state immediately. I mean, it's a frightening prospect, a horrifying. They're saying off with their heads. No, I mean, that's what they're doing. And the victor's like, the roaches are scurrying about. Prince Philip has tried to eliminate them. We've overrun the nation with brooding foreigners. We can use it to put it into the police force and the CPS to kidnap their children. But these filthy Brits who don't like our German royal family, that runs everything, the Saxe-Coburg-Goethers, we'll deal with them. Oh. I mean, literally, Charles looked even more effeminate than his wife, just going, oh, protect me, royal guard. But
a little bit of locksmithing and do all kinds of things.
You even sell guns.
We even
oh God, a rabble slave with a weapon. Disarm him. Get the guards. Disarm him immediately. One of the slaves has a weapon. Raise the alarm. Raise it. Oh good Lord.
the problem with the selling of guns right now, Alex, is they're awful hard to get right now.
But the rabble, you can't have the slaves,
Because
the serfs having weapons.
Barack the Quack has made everyone want to buy guns. He's been really good for the gun industry.
Lord Obama is a
short-term.
sensible individual. Total disarmament of the civilian population under the UNIDEA in 2001 July 7th agreement to disarm all civilians for a power monopoly of the state under UN law is the only sensible system if we're going to carry out eugenics against these slaves. They're rabble scum. They need to be euthanized immediately. And how dare them not want to be slaves? How dare them not want to be in inner city reservations? How dare them not submit to us and our divine will? We're geniuses.
And what Alex just
Okay, so now remember that. Remember that. So this is early Alex Jones. You know, I love early Alex Jones. That shit, like, that just made me laugh. You know, I love it. I love it. And you know, today's show we will go through some conspiracy stuff a little bit. I'll save the rest for my secret streams. Okay, remember to subscribe. Okay, subscribe to Get Crack to Me, or Give Crack to Me. I mean, GIVECRACK to the number 2 me on Kick and YouTube. I'm only going to stream there because I'm going to do copyright stuff. I'm going to show some documentaries and stuff over there. I might do a secret stream tomorrow if there's nothing interesting that happens in the markets. Okay. Or maybe I'll just do it Sunday or Saturday morning just before Napstar stream. So go look up Anita Bonghit, ANIDA BONGHIT. He spelled it with a D. Okay, and that's his channel. All right, I'll put the link in the chat, and he will stream Saturday, all right, at 1:30 Eastern. So go there. Now, all right, you see that? Yeah, go there. And so Eric said, like, who was it that said Queen of England was head of NWO? I mean, maybe it was like what's his face? The guy who says everyone's a reptilian up in the upper echelons. What's his face? David Icke, right? It was David Icke, I believe. And here, let me put up an image. So that's why our thumbnail of the day that I made this video was this. Okay, I kind of alluded to, you know, the whole thing with reptiles. LaRouche, I don't know. I'm not really into the conspiracy stuff. You know, I'm just kind of like, I just like the gatekeepers, the hilarious people. And our lizard friend here with the American blended with the UK flag looking over the Indian Ocean, and I put there Diego Garcia. Now, do you know about Diego Garcia? Do you know that everyone's been bitching and whining about this for the past 2 months? So when Greenland happened, Trump was like, you better not sell Diego Garcia. You better not give it away, England. No. We need that base. And Diego Garcia has his own set of conspiracies. If you look at the Malaysian flight that disappeared over 10 years ago, straight up disappeared off the radar and nobody found it. One of the conspiracies was that it landed on Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia is an important base in the Indian Ocean, okay, for Navy and Air Force. Anyhow. And so, you know, you laugh at the accent, but again, you know, that's exactly who this guy represents.
The idea of the perfect family, the model family, the Queen, the Prince Consort, lots of children, the model family that everybody in the country wanted to aspire to. And it was a leadership role as political leadership became less royal, indeed ceased to be royal effectively, so moral leadership had become more royal. And you saw that very clearly with George V, who refused to drink during the First World War, or George VI, who had black lines put round the baths at Buckingham Palace so that people wouldn't fill them with water during the war when there was general scarcity. They tried to be with their people, to lead their people morally and by inspiration. And that's very difficult to do if you've got one whose collar has just been felt by the local police. That doesn't inspire that moral uprightness. Now you might say that we've had all this before, that the morality of George III's sons was atrocious. How many children did William IV have illegitimately? How many children did George IV have illegitimately? The standard of behaviour was extraordinarily poor. The Prince Regent, later George IV, spent huge amounts of money and kept on having to be bailed out. That there was a generally unsatisfactory moral air about the Hanoverians. They did not behave well. But that was in a very different age, when people had firmly in mind that royalty was the right thing, that the whole of society was completely hierarchical, and people higher up the social scale did behave less well. George III, who behaves incredibly well, is very moral, is very loyal to his wife, George III was the exception, and everyone else was behaving badly. So I think you can't go to those comparisons. You can look at younger brothers who have been troublesome, but it has to be said, when they were troublesome, the king often had pretty brutal means of dealing with it. That the Duke of Clarence drowned in a butt of Malmsey, almost certainly on the orders of his brother Edward IV, because he was plotting treason. This is not an option for the king. Malmsey is still available, butts of it less so, and the Tower of London is not going to be a place where people are putting butts of Malmsey. So you have had problems before relating to royal personages, you have had problems relating to younger sons, but in a different age where people accepted different solutions or were less concerned about the rightness or the wrongness of it. So how do we protect the monarchy? Because in my view, it matters. The former Prince Andrew doesn't matter. He is not going to be king. Once Prince Charles married, as he then was, the Prince of Wales, Duke of Cornwall, once he married and had 2 sons, it was almost inconceivable that the then Prince Andrew was going to succeed to the throne. He's now had all his titles stripped away from him. He, in and of himself, is not important. The king is important. And the Constitution is important. As a constitutional monarchy, this country works. The king embodies the nation. He is our leading diplomat. He bestrides the world in a way that other royals do not. He has a diplomatic reach others do not. He is a safeguard of our Constitution against overmighty politicians, one that may one day be needed. And that is important for our view of ourselves as a nation, who we are as a people. It is an extraordinary link to our history, back to King Alfred the Great, and indeed beyond. So it matters that we are a constitutional monarchy, and Prince Andrew does not matter. But these scandals do terrible damage because we do not live in an age of natural deference or understanding of the virtues of an hereditary monarch who does not have to be involved in the political fight. It is therefore built on a much softer foundation than was true in the Georgian era, or indeed in the Plantagenet era, or the Yorkists and the Lancastrians.
The plant. Oh man, Americans don't know any of that. Who cares? Tutors, who cares? Yeah. Yada yada yada. I don't. All right. That's enough. Okay, so he's trying to say that the only thing we need is a king, and as long as the king doesn't do anything wrong, we cool, right? We cool. Okay, so so Gia brought up like the flight. I will play a video now then, since you brought it up. We will play this video. And yes, you have very good ears. It is from Succession. It is It is. I got some selected pieces from this rendition by this girl who's very good. She plays piano by ear, so this is her. She's, oh man, I don't know. Like she comes up with her own arrangements, okay, of various things. So you can go to this. So you can go check her out. Catherine Cordova, very good, very good, very good. I'm very impressed. Playing by ear and all this. And her pianos are very good. So I think whatever piano she gets to play these things are very high quality. So no clue where she gets them. Is she sponsored by someone? I don't think she bought all those pianos for all the different renditions she does for different things. Okay, so let's go to the conspiracy. So I remember that time, the Malaysian flight here.
Hey guys, my name's Summit Shift FKA, and on a serious note, I'd like to talk about the Malaysian flight that went missing. Rumours or stuff has surfaced, according to various websites and chat groups. Philip Woods, an employee of IBM, managed to smuggle a iPhone 5 somewhere. People are saying up his arse. It's possible, maybe in his bucket of arse. And he took a picture which he uploaded to iPhone's website or whatever. I've never had an iPhone, so I wouldn't know. But apparently that told them the coordinates of where he was, and apparently it's on an island called Diego Garcia, which is owned by the British, and I think the Americans are there, or we're there. It's literally in between Africa and Australia. And just below India, but it's just weird how a plane that was supposed to have gone missing ends up at Diego Garcia, which is a proven base of military, and then that's it. And they're still saying that we're looking for the plane. It's missing still. The Americans have given the Australians a black box locator, because they have till Monday until the 30 days are up. I don't think, personally, that they're ever going to find that plane. I think something's going to happen to the passengers, and God forbid me, I really don't want that on anyone. But something weird's going on, and I'm just a bit more amped into this now after hearing this news, and it just seems a bit funnier that this is all going on when theoretically there could be an easy explanation, but you never know. I will try and keep you as posted as possible while the search goes on, but I can probably guarantee you that they're not going to find the wreckage because it's in Diego Garcia. The plane landed in Diego Garcia. But hopefully I can keep you as informed as I've been. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will try my goddamn hardest to see if I can figure out what's going on.
Now, one of the theories about the passengers on that flight, there were 20 semiconductor engineers from Freescale Semiconductors. Freescale was a spin-off of Motorola and IBM. Back in the 90s, up until maybe the early aughts, Freescale basically continued on the processor line that IBM and Motorola were building, like the Power PC line of processors. It was a RISC processor back then. So, everybody was kind of like, man, 20 engineers lost. I mean, when I worked in the semiconductors, I flew a lot too, but I don't know if we ever brought that many engineers on one flight. I don't know if bigger companies would purposely try to make people take different flights just in case this type of stuff doesn't happen. But it is interesting, 20 people, from a team were on the same flight. Yeah, that is interesting. I don't know what they specifically worked on. I don't know if that was ever revealed from the company. But you can look it up, Freescale Semiconductors. I mean, like, you just go Google Freescale, and you can see something. I guess maybe people had more theories back then. So yeah, just look up Freescale Semiconductor. It's not. I don't think it's in business anymore. But yeah, Freescale Semiconductor. So now, why did I bring all this stuff up? Why did I bring up like Diego Garcia, all that stuff? Like, look at the title of the show. Title of the show is The Anglo-American Condominium. Diego Garcia, Chagos, Akrotiri, and Decalia. Akrotiri and Decalia is in Cyprus. These are UK military bases on Cyprus, partially funded by the US. Okay. Diego Garcia is owned also by the British Overseas Territory, and the US definitely has a major presence on that part. Okay, that's not hidden. And so we can go and review this stuff right now. Okay, let's see. All right. Oh, there's going to be a lot of stuff to cover. Let me see if I got time. Pretty sure I have enough time. All right. Hopefully I can get through this. Okay. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. So this is an old article, archived a long time ago. Okay, let me get rid of this thing here. This is annoying. Goodbye. Anastasiades. Okay, some long Greek name. Stays mum. Mum means quiet. Okay, if you don't know British English. On secret U.S. base. This was written October 11, 2018. So this is about the Cyprus base. Okay, Cyprus is essentially the UK's version of Hawaii. I've been to Cyprus on business too, so not in the base though. So you don't try to dox me with that. All right, anyhow. Foreign minister to brief House after clamor. Former Secret Service chief says heliport at Akrotiri dates back decades. The government's continued silence on the reported existence of an American air base on the island only served to feed the opposition's curiosity on Thursday as they demanded answers. President Nikos Anastasiades demurred when asked about the secret American base. Why should I be answerable when even the U.S. State Department itself was unaware until recently when a report came out? The base was likely used for humanitarian purposes, he said, adding that it was well known Cyprus provides these facilities to foreign countries like France and Germany. But he avoided directly addressing the question of whether the Cyprus government knew about the U.S. operation. Earlier this week, ABC News, citing a U.S. government document, said the U.S. State Department spent some $70 million on the base that was quickly set up and served little clear purpose before its quiet closing last year. ABC said the base, established in September 2013 and closed in August 2017, hosted 5 helicopters and approximately 40 government contractors at a cost of about $20 million per year, according to a recent report from the State Department Office of the Inspector General, OIG. The OIG report stated that the base provided the department a regional contingency capability with a focus on air bridge support to Embassy Beirut, so that's Lebanon, and assisted to the transportation and, if needed, the evacuation of comm personnel from the embassy. But with the administration here staying tight-lipped since the story broke on Wednesday, opposition politicians grew impatient. We want to know what these helicopters were used for offensive, surveillance, or humanitarian purposes, asked Greens MP Georgios Perdikis. Perdikis, all right. As the pressure mounted, Foreign Minister Nikos Christodoulidis accepted a summons to brief Parliament on the issue. In a brief statement, the Foreign Ministry said Christodoulidis agreed to appear before a House committee and answer questions. The statement did not say when. The House Foreign Affairs Committee is scheduled to convene next on October 23rd. Blah, 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 blah. Anyhow, here, this is the key part. Okay, speculation that the U.S. helicopters were based in Akrotiri within the sovereign base areas, SBAs. SBAs are those special areas, okay, of the British overseas territories. And guess what? Those places make very good tax havens too. So we will have some videos about tax havens. So if you're interested in making your own cryptocurrency company or shell company and you want to hide your money from government taxation, having an operation based in Cyprus might be the way to go. Appeared to be confirmed when local media published screenshots taken from Google Earth. The photos purport to depict Apache and Chinook helicopters parked next to a hangar in Akrotiri. Ooh, well. Well, sounds like something, huh? The satellite images depict a heliport that was built in the mid-1960s. Oh, well, what happened in the 1960s? You had the Turkish invasion of Cyprus, okay, after the transfer of power from England or the UK, I guess you want to say, the UK over to the Cyprus local people. So that's always something interesting there. It was then that a deal was struck between Archbishop Makarios. So he was the leader of Cyprus at that time, before the Turks and the Greeks on that island split apart, and the United States following the American U-2 spy planes to make use of the British bases. This necessitated aircraft support and the installation of auxiliary services, including helicopters, he said. The former top spy stressed that he was citing information available in the public domain and was not revealing classified material. He said his information about the heliport on Akrotiri and its use by American U-2 planes flying surveillance missions over the Middle East comes from the book The Wrong Horse by Lawrence Stern. Okay, so yeah, you can read the rest of this. Pretty interesting. Okay, but we know that the U.S., and Britain go hand in hand. Okay, and we will continue on that journey a bit later, I guess. But first, let's go to recent times. So this is the recent news. UK is blocking Trump from using RAF bases, so the Royal Air Force bases, for strikes on Iran. The disagreement over the use of British sites is behind the U.S. president's withdrawal of support for the Chagos Islands deal. So that includes Diego Garcia right here. Okay, all these nice little planes on Diego Garcia. Do we see where the Malaysian plane is? Is it still there after 11 plus years? I don't think so. Anyhow. Keir Starmer is blocking, so that's the prime minister right now. He's actually the most unpopular prime minister ever in British history, which is surprising because they've had a string of prime ministers that haven't been, very popular. Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak, who else? Boris Johnson. Like, bruh, I don't think they've had a solid prime minister in a long while. Probably since Blair. Actually, it's been a rotating cavalcade of who knows? I don't know. That the whole place is ridiculous. Anyway, is blocking a request by President Trump to allow American planes to use British bases to attack Iran, telling him that it would be in breach of international law. In a rift with Washington, the Prime Minister is understood to have told Trump that the UK would not allow the use of British facilities at Diego Garcia and RAF Fairford in Gloucestershire. Gloucester. Okay, wait up. Okay, so, we say Worcestershire sauce, so they say Worcester sauce. So then I should pronounce this Gloucester sauce, right? So it's Gloucester, whatever. Which is home to America's fleet of heavy bombers in Europe. Under the terms of long-standing agreements with Washington, these bases can only be used for military operations against third countries that have been agreed in advance with the government, the UK government, the parliament, essentially. Okay. So right here, we got Diego Garcia. Okay, and Gloucester, and Iran in the middle. All right, there we go. So, all right. They would have taken it apart because parts of it were found in the east coast of Africa. Yeah, we'll get to Africa in a bit. Anyhow, and Trump fired back. Trump accuses Starmer of big mistake over Diego Garcia lease. So he did that before already with during the whole Greenland thing. It's a big mistake. By entering a lease agreement for the U.S.-UK airbase on the island of Diego Garcia, Trump urged the UK not to go ahead with its plan to give the Chagos Islands to Mauritius while taking out a 99-year lease for the military base. He warned the Prime Minister to avoid losing control of the region and said the U.S. may want to use Diego Garcia in the event of a conflict with Iran. He wrote on Truth Social on Wednesday night, "I've been telling Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the United Kingdom that leases are no good when it comes to countries, and that he is making a big mistake by entering a 100-year lease with whoever it is that is claiming right title and interest to Diego Garcia, strategically located in the Indian Ocean. Our relationship with the United Kingdom is a strong and powerful one, and it has been for many years, but Prime Minister Starmer is losing control of this important island by claims of entities never known of before. In our opinion, they are fictitious in nature. Should Iran decide not to make a deal, it may be necessary for the United States to use Diego Garcia and the airfield located at Fairford in order to eradicate a potential attack by a highly unstable and dangerous regime. An attack that would potentially be made on the United Kingdom, as well as other friendly countries. Prime Minister Starmer should not lose control for any reason of Diego Garcia by entering a tenuous, at best, 100-year lease. This land should not be taken away from the UK, and if it is allowed to be, it will be a blight on our great ally. We will always be ready, willing, and able to fight for the United Kingdom, but they have to remain strong in the face of wokeism and other problems put before them. Do not give away Diego Garcia." All right, there we go. Now, thanks, Ugg on YouTube. So, the liveys. Well, I don't know if you know about Carol Quigley. Carol Quigley wrote several books. He was also a mentor for Bill Clinton. So this is Bill Clinton's speech way back when. His nomination acceptance address delivered in July 1992 on the 16th. Okay, and here's the important part of this speech. All right, guys. It's quite a long speech, isn't it? People usually sat and listened to Bill Clinton forever. He was one of the best speakers we've had in a long time. Very smooth. He was Slick Willie. Yeah, Slick Willie. That's what they called him. As a teenager, I heard John Kennedy's summons to citizenship. And then as a student at Georgetown, I heard that call clarified by a professor named Carol Quigley, who said to us that America was the greatest nation in history because our people had always believed in two things: that tomorrow can be better than today, and that every one of us has a personal moral responsibility to make it so. Oh, how poetic. But yes, he was like pretty much his favorite professor. Okay. And I think he mentioned him another time in some other places. Let me see if I can find it. Slick Rick, yeah. I'm thinking of something else. Slick Rick. Slick Rick was a panelist on Chaotic Truth. He was this black guy who would just like pop on panel with cam on, and he would go around and start saying like, the blacks could never make this. Like he would just show off like buildings and things. The blacks could never maintain this, and he would just. One time he was in a, I think he was in a wedding, like or something. He was in a dance hall, and he was just dancing, and he was just showing off. It was like what the. The peak era of Chaotic Truth was amazing. I love that era. You had so many cool characters. It's just not the same now. That was the summer of 2024. It was an amazing time on that panel. I don't think it could ever be topped, honestly. Okay, so let me see. Let me see. Where is it? Okay, let's see. Let me see if this was the website. Yeah, I mean that's how you had John Galt, you had Imperius. You had another crazy dude named Lord Geotron. Lord Geotron was amazing. Holy shit. I downloaded some of the VODs from that time. I might play some clips that I could find, the best of CT during that era. Oh man, Lord Geotron. I remember one time Lord Geotron was coming home in his truck, and he was whining about like how these idiots turned on the water and it ruined his whole plumbing job. Like they turned on the water at the wrong time and everything got screwed up. And he was just yelling and screaming on the panel. It was crazy. It was insane. You had some wild people, man. Great stuff. Okay, let's see. Okay, it wasn't this. That's the same link. Was it this link? Okay. Okay, Clinton's remarks in a standing room only, Gaston Hall. So that's pretty recent, huh? 2019. So I guess he talked about Quigley again here. Though attentive to policy and politics, were rich with Georgetown nostalgia. I am grateful that 53 years ago I sat in Professor Carroll Quigley's class and I heard him tell me that I had a personal responsibility to make the future better than the present. Clinton shared a story that the editor of his 2004 memoir insisted he cut half of the 50 pages devoted to Georgetown, cautioning that nobody will believe you remember all these teachers and what happened in their classes. But I do. I could fill 500 pages. Well, the only ones that were mentioned, right, is Carroll Quigley, as far as we know. And now let's go into it. Let's go and dig deep into this. So, he wrote a book, all right? I recommend this book, The Anglo-American Establishment. There's a more popular book, Tragedy and Hope. Tragedy and Hope is the one the conspiracy guys always tell you to read. It's like way too long, all right? But I think if you read this one, it's good enough. Okay, The Anglo-American Establishment, Carroll Quigley on the Real Power Structure. Carroll Quigley is best known for his work Tragedy and Hope, where Quigley outlines a more accurate history of the previous centuries. I haven't read the book due to its sheer length, but after coming across a shorter and more accessible introduction in The Anglo-American Establishment, I decided to read this one instead. In many instances, it confirmed my suspicions, and at certain moments, I was shocked at the sheer cynicism found in the world of geopolitics. For example, here is one section from the book on page 39, which reads, Cecil Rhodes arrived last night from South Africa. I was at Stead's again. Rhodes had talked for 3 hours of all his great schemes. Rhodes is a splendid enthusiast, but he looks upon men as machines. This is not very penetrating. Then just after, 12 days after this, on February 15th at Lord Rothschild's country house, Brett wrote in his journal, "Came here last night, Cecil Rhodes, Arthur Balfour, Harcourts, Albert Gray, Alfred Littleton. A long talk with Rhodes today. He has vast ideas, imperial notions. He seems disinterested, but he's very ruse and, I suspect, quite unscrupulous as to the means he employs." All of these figures were associated with the Milner Group, alongside others, and Carol Quigley outlines how these organizations and groups were behind the various machinations of the British government in terms of their foreign policy. We find in his analysis how initially Britain appeased Hitler and funded him, hoping to eventually bring about a war between her and Russia, in which she succeeded. They also had no qualms in sacrificing the Central European countries to achieve their aims, such as Poland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, and Romania. However, this is not to say that all factions agree totally with these outcomes, as apart from the Milner Group, we had the Round Table, the Chamberlain Group, the Cliveden Set, the Times Crowd, and others who had different geostrategic plans. Moving on, we also see how the Milner Group altered their models for economic growth to suit their agenda, replacing international finance with monopolistic national capitalism, which makes us question the idea that the economy is a non-political activity that cannot be controlled by a handful of people. I would like to conclude this article by stating that geopolitics is a very intricate affair and the problems associated with it are not easy to solve. It requires a huge level of diplomacy and compromise so that a balance of power is achieved in order to reduce the threat of war. Britain's elite at the time knew that they had to rebuild Germany to some degree, but either they miscalculated or willingly induced the horrors of World War II. We will never know fully. Nevertheless, I'm convinced that currently the Western financial elite are certainly wield too much power, which is to the detriment of humanity. So, if you're Canadian, I have a book to recommend. It's a 3-volume set. It's called... let me see what it's called. I think it's called the... Canadian... Let me see... I think... Newman... Establishment... Okay, there you go. You can get it on Amazon. Here you go. I'll give you the link. So for the Americans, they can read this, and you should, and the British, and anybody around the world should read the Anglo-American Establishment. And if you're Canadian, you can add this to your list. It's called The Canadian Establishment by Peter C. Newman. I believe the Canadian Broadcasting Channel made a series, a little short series, maybe about 10 episodes or so of the book, but you can read the book too. So you can look that up. And I'll play a little video from the author himself, because all this stuff goes together, the thing. Breaking! Trump administration to begin disclosure process for U.S. government files, including the Department of War. Let's fucking go. Oh, you were talking about UFOs? Oh my God. I don't need to talk about Project Bluebeam with you guys now, do I?
It's a group of self-selected people who run the country, or to be precise and accurate, who ran the country. Their day is over, and I think that's well worth writing about, and I have tried to put it all in one big article. It was really geography. I had been in Ottawa for 20 years as a political journalist, and I became editor-in-chief of the Toronto Star, so I had to live in Toronto. And suddenly I couldn't write about national politics because the way I write about it is I have to be there. I have to watch people. I have to, smell them. I mean, so I just switched and I started to write about this group because they were running the country. I thought it was back in Ottawa, but it was them. It was a negative force in the sense that it was mainly out to enrich itself. On the other hand, there, all of the money that's contributed for health, for people who need help, it comes from the establishment too. So we can't just say it shouldn't exist, because it should exist, but I would suggest it would be a little more generous. Well, I think the best, in my view, was Red Wilson, who was the head of BCE, and who really is a great Canadian. He contributes to all Canadian causes, and he's also very enlightened in his policies. If I had to pick one, it would be him. Look, there's always an establishment, whatever it's called, and the establishment has the power. I am saying that it has taken a sharp turn to the left, and I think that's good. But one day there will be another establishment. There will be another Peter Newman taking it to task, I hope.
All right, guys. So, well, you guys can read it up there in Canada. You guys definitely have a new establishment up there. Maybe it supports wokeism or whatever, but there is a change coming, right? The US, the UK, everybody here, and essentially the British Commonwealth, because a lot of the Anglo nations do stick together, whether you like it or not. They try to align their policies. So we live in that world, So again, yeah, you can read the Anglo-American establishment. All right, Bill Clinton. All right, got that. So let's get back to Diego Garcia. There is a battle here. Okay. Mauritius claim to the Chagos Islands, not the only one. Written February 19, 2026. All right, that is today. That's basically the island. It's an atoll. It's barely a solid piece of land, you see, but it's strategic in its location. Nationalinterest.org, all right, which is a think tank created by Richard Nixon way back when. Okay, so disclosure. This is an opinion piece, right? The Chagos Islands are far closer geographically and historically to the Maldives. What are the Maldives? What is Mauritius? Okay, the British government's agreement to transfer the Chagos Islands to Mauritius has floundered on its encounter with President Trump, who denounced it as an act of great stupidity. It risks a rupture in the UK-US relationship at the core of NATO between two countries that rely on the Diego Garcia military base for their national security and NATO's interest in the Indo-Pacific. By placing principle before prudence, it throws their basing arrangement into uncertainty despite provisions for leaseback from the Mauritian government. Yet even on its own terms, the settlement is incoherent. Amid the Trump torrent, the president of the Maldives intervened on principle. Mohamed Muzi government has written to the UK arguing that his island nation, not Mauritius, holds the strongest claim to the Chagos Islands. For decades, the tiny Indian Ocean chain of more than 60 islands has been treated as a symbol of unfinished decolonization. But would Mauritius even be the correct inheritor? Look at a map. Port Louis, Mauritius's capital, is roughly 1,300 miles away from the Chagos Islands. Male in the Maldives is only 300 miles away. The Maldives also straddles the same oceanic ridge that runs from South Asia to Chagos. Ceding these islands to an African nation sits uneasily with the fact that London and Washington have always treated Diego Garcia not as an African outpost, but as a cornerstone of Indo-Pacific strategy and a backbone for NATO-linked operations across the region and the Middle East. That assumption of continuity is now in doubt. In January, Mauritius's deputy prime minister confirmed that once sovereignty transfers, Diego Garcia base would be prohibited from storing UK and US nuclear weapons. All right. Well, I'm mispronouncing that. How you pronounce that? Can you spell it out phonetically in the chat? But anyway, we got this here, and you can see the map between them. And this is the Chagos Islands. I don't know if they can zoom in this thing. Can you zoom in this thing? No, it's all blurry and stuff. But yeah, you can see it right here. That's where we're at right now. We're in that zone. Oh boy, so we got some issues there. I don't know if this like really matters at the end of the day. No. I've heard some people were like running boats up and down at Mauritius. Oh, Mauritius. Okay. So yeah, there were some stories of some islanders going on there, maybe from here and there. I don't know. Are people protesting? There were some people protesting that should stay in the UK. I don't know what's going on. Like nobody lives there, like outside of the base. Like it's just a fishing spot, for these people. Anyhow, auction. So let's get back to stocks now. The reason I brought all that stuff up is because not Moo, it's Ma. Okay, Mauritius. Okay. So Eric W brought up like he uses camel. Okay. Now I've talked about looking at effort and result in terms of volume versus a price action. Now I'm gonna get into the weeds here. This might interest some of you people who like a more analytical way of looking at it, because when I look at the charts, it's sort of more broad, big picture, right? So we can go into the details. I warn you, however, like you might lose yourself in the trees, right? I rather look at the forest, but maybe this floats your boat better than how I look at things. Auction market theory, understanding market dynamics. And this is a great blog because most of the stuff, when you search auction market theory, it's just somebody trying to sell you something. This was written very recently, February 12th. Thank goodness this guy wrote this huge blog entry, because he summarized it way better than me trying to refine all my old bookmarks from 4 years ago, because those bookmarks were not complete at all. People would only tell you a little bit and something like this. This is very complete, very good. So I'll just read from the beginning until I stop. I'm going to stop at some point because this is very long. You guys can go to the link in the description. So if you're on Kick, go to YouTube and go to the description. Everything I do in my streams, I put as many citations as I can in the description. I started trading many years ago, and my beginnings were probably the same as the vast majority of people, stumbling upon some video on YouTube of a guy making thousands of dollars on MetaTrader, trading Forex meaning trading currency, using some sort of technical analysis. Technical analysis is what I talk about in this channel. And this is one of the reasons why I don't tell you too much about the indicators, and then, you guys always ask me, hey, can you talk about the basics of technical analysis? No, forget it. Really forget it, because you can learn it on your own. It's really irrelevant for you to learn too much about it, because you're going to learn things that are mostly useless. Let's put it that way. It's good to recognize some of them, because then you recognize what the morons are going to do. Because if you see something that most people see in technical analysis, you're like, oh, okay, look at this guy. This guy's just looking at the 200-day moving average. Or this guy's looking at these candles and going like, oh, that's a dark cloud cover pattern. Like, those guys who look at that stuff generally will not beat the market, okay? There's no edge there. Everyone sees that stuff, so it doesn't work. It's the stuff that you don't see, that most people don't use, that will work. So that's why I don't like to talk about them. You don't want to learn the basics. And you don't want to get fixated on indicators. So many people try to like find some indicator, like, oh, if this line crosses this line, then I short it. If this line crosses that line, I long it. This or this and that. No. Very inflexible. You really are relying that this thing has some kind of probability. So it's like the coin flip stuff that I talked about before. And I said like, okay, heads is 60%, tails is 40%, right? And stuff like that. Most technical analysis will just give you barely above 50% chance that it will work. So if you just rely on like, oh, I have this line cross that line, and you just keep relying on that signal, you will fail like barely above 50%. Like maybe at best 60% it'll work. You'll lose over time, right? And it's gonna take longer for you to make money, because every time you lose, it just eats away at your. So that's why it's like, no. Let's not do that. Let's focus on the big picture. Okay, let's not get stuck in signals and stuff. Like, recognize certain things, recognize certain patterns, but don't be fixated. Don't be rigid. Be flexible. Just you need more than just a few things to see on a chart. Okay, so that's what I hope over time you'll understand. And once we get down the list, we can use that to build the portfolio. You'll get a better feel, and we can move from there. And then you people who like to do quantitative things, you can figure out how to tune it to make it, trade more profitably over time compared to most systems. So, and that's later. That's probably a long ways away, depending on who wants to use AI to figure this out. One thing that I can comfortably say is that the longer I trade, the less of a fan I am of technical analysis. I don't blame you. Most technical analysis out there is hogwash. It's complete nonsense. Social media is always filled with a bunch of different indicators, right? Like I said, price action techniques, trend lines, and so on, breaking down usually the hindsight situations that already played out. One of those hindsight situations is like, oh, the death cross. Wow, I see a death cross. This moving average goes below this. By the time you short a death cross, it's too late. It's probably where it's going to bounce. So that's why I said it's nonsense. It's useless. It gives you no edge. I am not saying that all technical analysis is bad. I still use some things to this day. But what I see online most of the time truly reminds me of astrology for the unemployed rather than an actual useful trading approach. Yep, that's what you'll mostly find out there. Okay, so if you see channels with like thousands of people coming in there watching this guy do this thing and that, they're just selling you something. Okay, they're just selling you something, and that's it. And eventually, most of that stuff you'll find out doesn't give you that much improvement over like just buying the S&P 500 index and doing that. But by the time most people find that out, it's too late. One of the things I learned early on, and that stuck with me throughout the years, is auction market theory. It is not because it is the best way to view the market or because there are hidden secrets behind it, but mostly because it makes sense. It does make sense. It does make sense because it's volume analysis. So when I do the volume stuff, it's very like, it's not precise because I don't have all the information in a chart. The chart doesn't give me the detailed information. If you, however, do have more detailed information, you can do this type of analysis. And here we go. This is how we're going to do it. And this is exactly what I cover in this article. We will start with the fundamentals of why markets move, break down auction market theory itself, and then look at the tools used to apply it. Market profile, volume profile, and VWAP. VWAP is... Okay, so there is somebody named Shannon. I forgot his first name. He does a lot of VWAP. He has a book. He wrote this book probably 2 years ago. You might be interested in it. And if you go on TradingView, you can find a lot of stuff that this guy talks about, the volume profile, the market profile. Okay, so if you're interested, yeah, read the rest of this article. But I'll keep going on until I find a good place to stop. Before we do so, I will leave a supplementary reading list here for those who want to dig deeper. So here are the links. Okay, take a screenshot. If you don't have the link, you can still take a screenshot. You can Google these books and go wild. I'm not a big fan of reading long books for trading because I don't know how many of you guys will actually take advantage of it. You guys might just spend all your time trying to understand what the heck this thing is saying and less time practicing trading. So I caution you, don't be the guy who just reads a bunch of books but never trades, because there's a big difference when you actually go into your account and trade. Your psychology takes over. So be warned. Don't spend too much time here. You have to work on your psychology at the same time too, you know. Order flow and why markets move. A lot of people have no idea why prices actually go up or down. There are always many theories behind every move, with the word manipulation usually flying around. But fundamentally, things are much more simple. Sometimes you hear that price went up because there were more buyers than sellers. This is actually not correct. Prices move because of the dynamics between market and limit orders. And since for every buyer there has to be a seller and vice versa, prices will move when there is aggression on either side. Okay, what is a market and limit order? Market order is usually the dumb guys who just want to buy quickly. So, you know, some guy comes around and just goes like, hey, give me 10 shares of Apple. Here you go. Whatever. Give me any price. Usually you can tell that guy's the retail guy. And the limit order guy is usually the guy who has like, I want to buy thousands of shares of Apple, you know, and I want to make sure it gets done in this price. Okay, so that's this more smarter guy. In general, that's what they usually infer by that. Okay, so let's go here. Let me see. I don't even know if I can explain this to you guys. All right, let me see. Numbers in red and blue columns showing resting orders. Okay, blue and red numbers in the middle show executed orders. Oh boy. Okay, this is gonna be fun. Okay, so they're gonna use more terminology here. What you see above is an example of a trading DOM, depth of market. This particular DOM shows the depth of market for Euro Stoxx futures. So I think that's a German index. In trading, there are only two types of orders that matter for understanding price movement. Market orders, all right, are orders to buy or sell at the best available price right now. They are executed immediately against the resting limit order in the order book. Market orders are the aggressive side of the equation. They are the ones that move prices because every time a market buy order takes out the best available ask, the price ticks up. Every time a market sell order takes out the best available bid, the price ticks down. This is how and why prices move. It is not because of an RSI, you know, that's a technical indicator. A lot of people, that's like the first indicator you learn in technical analysis. Oh, you know, the RSI, relative strength index, crossing a level or a candle closing above a moving average. Oh, that's what I talk about, right? Oh, look at that candle bouncing off that 40 day moving average or something. Prices move because aggressive participants are willing to pay the spread to get filled immediately. So it's either a dumb guy, right? Some guy who goes like, whoa, the market's crashing, I'm gonna catch the knife, and they go into their little brokerage account and go like, yeah, give it. It's crashing. This stock is crashing. Give me at any price right now. So most of that is impulsive buying. So it's usually some kind of stupid person buying, maybe. But it could also be somebody who's needs a lot of liquidity. So it could be a smart person coming in, a big buyer or a big seller, because they want to get out quickly because they know something happens, right? Like we discussed this with the semiconductors like 2 weeks ago. When I shorted semiconductors, I looked at that candle and I saw very aggressive selling going down right through there. So that could be because of what happened, right? Somebody was selling with market order. They were just like, get me out at any price, get me out at any price. And the next several days, we started crashing, right, in the NASDAQ. Now, limit orders. What are limit orders? Limit orders are resting orders placed on the order book at a specific price. They advertise the intention to buy or sell and sit there waiting to be executed against incoming market orders. Limit orders are often called the heavier hand in the market because large players cannot afford to use market orders. Okay, so these are people who should be smarter. If they did, they would incur considerable slippage trying to fill large positions, or they're desperate. They're desperate to buy or they're desperate to sell. That would be the only reason. So can I tell if the person buying with market orders is the dummy or the smart guy? Now, if I could figure that out, I could pretty much predict the market very well. But I don't have that tool. Is there a tool out there that has it? I don't know. Maybe Martin Shkreli has it. Okay. Instead, they use various advanced order types, such as icebergs, to hide their intentions and avoid getting front run. If you are placing a limit order on the order book, you are making liquidity. Because limit orders are the heavier hand, they are the ones that stop markets in trending environments from advancing or declining further. Aggressive market participants firing off market orders often hit these limit walls and get absorbed. This dynamic between aggressive market orders and passive limit orders is the foundation of everything that follows. Okay, maybe I lost most of you guys by now. Who knows? But let's continue. What is the auction market theory? J. Peter Steindelmayer, whatever this German name is or something, Steindelmayer, developed the concept of auction market theory. Jim Dalton was one of the first to recognize the value of Steindelmayer's ideas and contributed to them significantly in his book, Mind Over Markets. If you want to go deeper on this topic, those are two names to look up. Auction market theory breaks down the market's primary purpose and how market participants interact to fulfill that purpose. The main idea lies in the fact that financial markets are no different from any other auction, where buyers and sellers meet daily. There are two major things every market is trying to achieve: facilitate trade in a two-way auction process, seek the fair value of the asset. A two-way auction means that the end of the up auction is followed by the beginning of the down auction and vice versa. Auction market theory translates this process through supply and demand dynamics and price discovery. This process is then represented by tools such as market profile or volume profile, which produce bell-shaped curves representing 68% of activity as one standard deviation from the mean. And we talked about sigma levels before, right? We talked about that. We talked about what's the expected value of a move. Okay, this is where it comes from. All right. So if I think the S&P 500 is going up or down tomorrow, I have a statistical profile of it. I say, like, within a sigma, okay, the standard deviation, it should land here. If something crazy happens, and I believe it's a 2 sigma event. So when I did my show, you can look it up, 2 sigma. And the next day we had 2 sigma. We had the S&P shoot up way higher than what it's supposed to. Okay, there you go. Now you got it. Now you understand. So that's where this comes from. To make this tangible, all right, this practical example, let's look at a hypothetical example in the stock market. Say that one share of Samsung stock trades at $100, which is actually not that far off from the price in Korean won where it actually trades. A new Samsung phone comes out and it is terrible. The battery is not working, overheating, the whole mess. Because of this event, Samsung stock starts dropping in value until it finds new buyers at, let's say, $50 a share. This is where a new value area is created. After some time, the phones get repaired and the price of the stock starts to rise again. Where is the market likely to stop? The previous value area is around $100. This is eventually what every market does. Market participants constantly negotiate prices between balanced and imbalanced values. Okay, here you have a chart of Samsung. While I have absolutely no clue what caused the price movements from 2019 to 2023, it reflects our scenario quite well. Value built at the lows, followed by a move to the upside where new fair value was established. And once price sold off, it found support at the prior value area. When it comes to trading, there is always a narrative. Trump said this, war here or there. Okay, so Powell did that. Someone ate a bat in China, and so on. I earlier mentioned that the longer I trade, the less I care about technical analysis. If there is something I care about even less, it is all of these narratives. Yes. If there's anything you should care less about, it's news. News is nonsense. Okay. All right. So yeah, what's up, troll? What's up? Yeah, first order was a limit order. Yep. Yeah. You'll learn. And I think there's more complex orders you can make on there too. So I think you can read the rest of this article. It's like it's quite good. You start seeing this, and if you go in Trading View, you can basically generate these type of things. I don't know how good they are though. That's the problem. Like this, you see. Like, yeah, their Trading View started adding a lot of these indicators here, but the problem is that they just use the volume profile of the data they get. So the data feed that Trading View gets, is probably not very good, right? You have to pay for better service to get better data. The free service that you get from Trading View in general, and even if you have a subscription in Trading View, the data you get is from the BATS data. The BATS system. The BATS system is the free real-time system, which is trash. So let me tell you what it is. BATS. Exchange. BATS. So it's the BATS exchange. So BATS, BATS, Global Markets Stock Exchange. It's now part of the CBOE. Okay, so it was formerly called the Better Alternative Trading System. But you probably want like the total information from all the exchanges, right? You need everything, the NYSE, the American Exchange, the NASDAQ, everything. So the stuff you get from BATS is, and if you do this, it's not going to be good. And there's going to be like services that offer the order book itself. And if you got the order book, you can generate, more complex information from there. If you got level 3 and all that, and you can generate this. Anyway, I don't know that stuff. You can auction market theory people, order book people, they probably have some YouTube channels where you can see what's up, how they do things. But I think most of those people will try to sell you a subscription. That's the problem. All of them are just trying to sell you a subscription. That's why I never like this stuff. I love the theory of auction market theory, but it's like, how do I actually get this data though without going through a third party that I can believe it, right? That's the problem. So that's why I never really got into it. But I think I think some of you will like this a lot more than technical analysis for sure. It makes a lot more sense to follow it this way. This is what you get in TradingView, the defaults. So one day maybe I'll go into this, like how you open a TradingView and do this yourself, and you can probably replicate it on your Thinkorswim or something. I'm sure they have the similar things that you can make, but you can see like it builds a volume profile, and you can determine which area you will have a support. You see, so this thing draws a red line where it finds the peak of this profile and say like, here, this is where the next time this stock goes down, it should find support. And look, it bounced off of there, right? So, and it didn't use any magic lines, right? For me, what would I do? I would just be like, oh, I see a top here, I see a bottom here, I see a and I'll just draw lines based on where I see price. But here you take into account the volume and the price together, okay? So, and then when we talk about VWAP, volume weighted average price, that's a whole nother game here. That's what it is. You can look it up. Volume weighted average price. Look up Shannon. Okay, so Shannon volume VWAP. Let me see. And hold on. Let me find this book. All right. And I'll give you an Amazon link. Okay, how about that? I'll be nice to you guys today. Okay. There you go. Maximum trading gains, anchored VWAP. Okay. So, yeah, look up Shannon. Brian Shannon. SHANNON. So, yeah, can have fun. He loves VWAP. So, if you're interested in reading about it, this guy just loves that stuff. So, this is a very long blog post, so I'm not going to read anymore. I think you get an understanding. We might return and revisit this if I feel like it down the line, but it gives you an idea. So we're done with this. We're done with this. We're done with this. Okay, I'll bookmark this. Get this off the thing. Okay, so let's do some cycles. Let's switch some gears. Okay, get out the theory stuff. Let me take down the banner. Okay, we don't need that. Take out this. Goodbye. So let's start off with this. Total vehicle sales with 13-year cycle. So 13-year cycle, 1976 to 2015. Okay, I guess, and this is so he's used this 13-year cycle before from all this time, and this is the recent, cycles from the 2000s up till projected to 2040. So, look at the vehicle sales. What does it tell you? It looks like we are about at the peak of car sales. So, any of you guys are looking to buy a car, maybe if you can hold on 5 years, you'll probably get a better price. It also could mean that it's time to short car makers. Or how about Carvana? How about used car sellers or something like that? Maybe they won't make much of a profit. So I don't know if this is how this will affect used car sales versus new car sales, but if you look at GM and Ford, so I guess that's the black is GM and Ford is the blue one. It follows this cycle pretty well. So we might be at the peak of these two stocks. So this is something to look at. And this is from Larry Williams. Okay. So Larry Williams, this guy is the expert here. He's the expert trader. So I would trust his little charts. He's been trading for a long time. Actually, his daughter is an actress. I mean, they both won trading awards. Let's see. Larry. His daughter. Let's see. Yeah, Michelle Williams. I don't know if she was in any recent movies. But here you go. Here's the Wikipedia. You can look it up yourself. So Larry Williams, Michelle Williams. Yeah, you can look it up. My bad. Here. Okay. There you go. You can look it up. Now, he also plotted the cycles for 6.3 year cycle of inflation. So right now we're tracking at the bottom. Inflation should start picking up now. That's one reason, we saw gold do what it did last year into early this year. And now I think oil should follow. Okay. So let's look at where we will be with inflation. So we should start rising pretty rapidly as we hit 2027. So sometime in 2027, oil should rapidly rise even further. And once inflation hits 5%, if the Fed is really too slow, or if it doesn't care about inflation, let's say, and the inflation does hit finally 5%, that's it. I think that's it for that. That's too much stress for the stock market. The stock market is okay with some inflation, right? And we're about like 4% right now, I think. Last I checked. Let's see. What's the sticky inflation we have? Sticky inflation. Okay, sticky inflation. Here we are. Let me give you the sticky inflation. 3%. Okay. 3% sticky inflation. Okay. And let's look at the core 12-month inflation. What's that? The core sticky is still 3. Okay. And then let's look at the... I think that's about the same, huh? So, yeah, if the sticky is 3, then we're at 4. I assume for the normal inflation, the full inflation. Flexible CPI. So, flexible should be... Let's see, this month over this 12-month annualized. No, I don't want the annualized for that one, do I? No. Let's see. 1 month. Should I get 1 month annualized? 3 month? 1 month? That's interesting. Okay. 1 month annualized is -4. So the flexible CPI is trying to drop. Yeah, the sticky inflation is still too hard, huh? God. Yeah, it's really hurting it. It puts the Fed in a bad position. Let's see. CPI, let's see. What was the last? There'll be the PCE will be released tomorrow. So let me look at the calendar. So let's see what the projected PCE will be tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, month over month is 0.2. How about the year over year? 2.8% PCE. So not bad. The Fed wants it below 2, but we've been flat since September. So it's been hovering 2.7 or August, 2.7, 2.8, 2.7, 2.8. Oh boy. And then sticky is 3. Okay, this is not good then. Oh man. Yeah, this is tough. So I'm guessing like I'll have to believe this then, that we are going to rise into next year, and then next year will be something bad, and then something will break, huh? Next year. So yeah. If this thing hits 5%, I don't know when it will hit 5% sometime next year. If it's going to be earlier, sooner, or later, that will definitely be the time when the stock market just gives up. But for now, it should be okay as long as oil, energy, all those like take over. So once the tech side, the AI side, like goes down, like doesn't matter as long as we have the oil projected. So this is my own. Here's a cycle analysis. So that's why I told you guys to buy UwU. So XOP, 3x leverage is UwU, OILU. Okay, that's pretty much why I told you to get that, like at the beginning of February. It wasn't because of like, oh, I thought we were gonna have war with Iran. That's just a bonus. The truth is like I do expect all this stuff to follow gold. Inflation will pick up, and we should have a pretty easy time riding it. Oil will just rocket up. And if you remember several streams ago, what did I project? $160 a gallon. I mean, not a gallon. $160 a barrel, or 180, something like that, something crazy. But yeah, something's really gonna happen. Something down the line. I don't know when. I don't think this Iran stuff is gonna do it though. It might not even happen, right? But for now, we're safe until the summer. I think we're gonna keep moving up until summer, according to this anyway. So we got plenty of time. Okay, there you go. Okay, what else? Deer. So yesterday, last I talked about Deer. Okay, Deer had earnings. It's up. It was up like 13% at one point. It closed the day at up 11.58. Perfect. We hit our target of 653 for the DeMark indicator. Yeah, we're at a 7 count. So my guess is that we'll take a break, and so I'm gonna add this to our boomer portfolio. So we have a whole list of things on our portfolio. I will start adding more stuff into this, like Deere, so DE. So if you like your John Deere equipment, farm equipment, you're gonna like this stock. Then yeah, might as well, because this will complete its 9 count in a couple weeks. It'll take a break and then resume going up, because I think this will just be an intermediate stop, and we're finally going to go up. This 5, you see the 5 here? Okay. Yeah, you see that 5? So it doesn't mean it's going to stop there. All right, it doesn't mean it's going to stop there. We are likely to push higher, because usually when you have these counts, you have 0, 1, okay, 1, 2, and then you get 3. 3 almost hit the target it was expected to at 552. You do a 4, and then you do a 5. It doesn't mean it's going to stop here. This 5 can keep going on and on and on up to the next candle, the next bar, the next bar, the next bar. This is a weekly chart, okay? This is many years. So from 2021, it's been going sideways into 2025, and we discussed this yesterday. Go to the yesterday stream. We talked about Deere a lot. And here we are right now at this point, and I think this is just the beginning of a longer move up. So don't be surprised if Deere is going to be $1,000 next year or more. So I guess I'll have to put in the boomer stock. So this is a perfect boomer stock for boomers. Okay, right here. All right, anything else? No, I don't know if I want to talk about like home builders or home consumers. Home builders, I'm mixed. But I see some of them are really perking up, like this one. Try Ponte Homes, mid cap, up 47% year to date. So from New Year's up till now, this thing went wild on earnings. So there's definitely some of these that I might start throwing in there too. Let's see, industrials, trucking, yeah, trucking also. Some of them might be good. I don't know. This one kind of messed up earnings. Yeah, so I'm always on the lookout for more things here. And we got home improvement. Obviously, you know Lowe's, you know Home Depot. Wayfair crashed today on its earnings, so that no go for that. So this one's kind of bleh, but home builders. Okay, I see something. I see some of these guys. So we might add these to the boomer list. So you see the tickers going across your screen. I'm gonna start adding more, and then we'll move on. Okay, last movie I saw her being was in Oh yeah, Manchester by the Sea. Okay, yeah, I remember that movie now. Okay, yes. Heath Ledger's baby mama. Oh, really? Okay. Actually, I think she was in Spielberg's movie not long ago. Okay, I'll have to look it up. Can you explain why petroleum tracks inflation? Energy is the cause of inflation, usually. So the root of most inflation starts from energy. Of course, if we go with Milton Friedman's theory, inflation is a monetary phenomenon. That means the Federal Reserve is the reason you have inflation. But let's ignore that and say okay, there's true price discovery. Then energy is what drives it. And what's the biggest energy commodity out there? It's not nuclear, right? It's not solar. It's not wind. It's oil. So, okay. And then after oil, it's natural gas. And then after natural gas, it's coal. But most of the Western nations don't use coal much anymore. So for energy purposes anyway, they'll still use coal to make steel in certain cases. But for the most part, for energy, it's natural gas and oil. So those two. Prince hasn't been arrested in over 400 years. 400 years, huh? How convenient. All right, guys. It's almost 2 hours. I think we're good for the day. Let me see if I want to tease some stuff for you guys with the Boyd stuff. So, I'm going to tease you with some... how about this? I don't think I can do the tax haven stuff. I had some videos with how to do tax shelters with Diego Garcia or something. But here, how about this? How about I end the show with this?
I know what you want. Oh, sure, they may have tried to separate us, but what we have is too strong. It's too powerful. I mean, after all, we shared everything, you and I. I told you my deepest, darkest secrets. I showed you exactly what people are capable of. I shocked you with my honesty, but mostly I challenged you and made you think. And you trusted me, even though you knew you shouldn't. So we're not done, no matter what anyone says. And besides, I know what you want. You want me back. Of course, some believed everything and have just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy if it was all so simple? Only you and I both know it's never that simple, not in politics and not in life. But you wouldn't believe the worst without evidence, would you? You wouldn't rush to judgments without facts, would you? Did you? No, not you. You're smarter than that. Anyway, all this presumption made for such an unsatisfying ending, and to think it could have been such a memorable send-off. I mean, if you and I have learned nothing else these past years, it's that in life and art, nothing should be off the table. We weren't afraid, not of what we said, and not of what we did, and we're still not afraid. Because I can promise you this. If I didn't pay the price for the things we both know I did do, I'm certainly not going to pay the price for the things I didn't do. Oh, of course, they're going to say I'm being disrespectful, not playing by the rules, like I ever played by anyone's rules before. I never did, and you loved it. Anyhow, despite all the poppycock, the animosity, the headlines, the impeachment without a trial, despite everything, despite even my own death, I feel surprisingly good. And my confidence grows each day that soon enough you will know the full truth. Well, wait a minute. Now that I think of it, you never actually saw me die, did you? Conclusions can be so deceiving. Miss me?
Okay, so when you watch that thing after all the Epstein stuff, do you think that was a reference to Epstein? Like, okay, let me go back here. Like, you look at the mug he was drinking from.
Pay the price for the things we both know I did.
Look at the mug. Look at the mug. Let's see. All right, where is it at?
You love poppycock, the animosity, despite
All right, where is he
each day
from?
that soon enough.
All right, here we go. That mug is important. Okay, this was key to the whole conspiracy. What year was this from? This was during the time he got fired from House of Cards. So everything here was in reference to his character, right? Like Underwood. Like, oh, you never see him die. But now, like years later, you look at this. Wait a minute. Was he actually referencing the future with Epstein and all that crap? Was that like the whole thing? Was he making threats that he was going to take down the pedos because they were going after him? It's like, well, if you're going to take me down, I'm going to take all of y'all down. So, like, bro. So if you look at that mug, okay, and I'm going to bring this up. Here. So this is a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell and Kevin Spacey. How about that? And where are they? They're all chilling here. They're just chilling here. Where were they at? Oh man, was this Prince Andrew's little like room? Like, what is going on now? Oh my god, like the whole replies go wild here. And this is the fun part here. The mug. This mug you only get when you're invited to a coronation, I think, or some sort. Oh man. Wild, right? Really wild. So, yeah, let your conspiracy juices run here. Because after all this, like all the Epstein stuff, I remembered the whole speech that Kevin made, and I was like, I replayed it in my head and was like, wait a minute. Was that about Frank Underwood from House of Cards, or is this dude just like, or was this really a sly message saying like, I'm gonna get y'all. And Epstein is probably still alive, and it's just like, what the fuck is this guy? Is friends with Epstein or some shit? This guy's too much. Did he just take down Ghislaine and all these other people? Oh, anyway. Okay, let me wrap this up. Let's do some more tweets here. Okay, so this is an old tweet. This is like stale. Oh, let me get back to his ghetto points of view. Would love your thoughts on trust. So you're talking about trust, like estates, right? Like when you die and you put all your assets in a trust. Is that what you mean? Estate planning? I don't know too much about it. I did, I got my cousins to help me out on trusts and things because they work for a law firm. But as far as taxation, I'm really not the expert on it, on tax laws. I tried doing a lot of stuff myself. It's painful, man. Like when you have to deal with like your boomer parents stuff, you're like, annuities. How the hell do you figure this one out? And then you have to add in life insurance. I don't know any of this stuff yet. So I think it's better you get professional help. Yeah, so I don't know nothing about that. I wish more people, when John Galt started this channel, he just kept it professional, and you just had professional people come in and give their advice on certain things like this, which is important. Trusts definitely is probably something that a lot of people should be thinking about if they're at a certain tax bracket. Also, like how to what was that thing called? Freaking hell, there's estate tax. Like, I don't think anybody here is rich enough to worry about estate taxes and then carryovers, where like if one spouse dies and then you have to move over money and then take man, that's a whole nother game too. They changed that a lot, the rules of those things, but I don't think anybody here is like that wealthy. Like, they have so many assets that it goes over $5 million worth of assets. Are you guys? How many houses do you guys have? Like, seriously, I don't know. How much stock do you guys have? How many bonds do you own? Like, how much is all your 401ks worth? No clue, right? It could be easy to, now with inflation, maybe it is easy to get over these limits for estate taxation. Trusts, yeah, trust planning. Yeah, so most people know about revocable living trust. Okay, that's the most popular one that people use, and a lot of them you could just go to the library, find a bunch of books, and do it yourself. That's the one that probably most people are familiar with. AI gonna take over that tax crap. I think it already has. I heard like H&R Block is already planning to lay off a bunch of people now, since they replaced of the systems with AI. Yeah, so it's easy. That's easy. That's low hanging fruit. The basic stuff. The more creative stuff is going to be harder. The stuff that has to deal with law, where you actually have to worry about certain. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how advanced AI will get. Maybe it'll get good enough that you don't even need that level of assistance. But most people here probably don't need that level. Come on. Retail investors bought a record $48 billion in U.S. equities in the 21-day period ending last week. This exceeds the previous record set during the April 2025 crash by $5 billion. Wow. So, okay. So a lot of people, quote unquote, bought the dip, even though that dip was barely a scratch, man. Come on, guys. I mean, April was way larger, and you guys bought that barely, what, 2-3% dip? By comparison, they bought $33 billion at the beginning of 2022 before the bear market hit. Subsequently, they sold nearly $10 billion near the end of 2022 bear market. Never in history have mom and pop investors rushed to buy so intensively. How does this end? Usually not good, but we'll see. Here's another one. Retail investors are buying U.S. tech stocks at an unprecedented pace. Retail purchases of the software ETF IGV are up to a record $176 billion over the last month. This is more than double the previous peak seen in the late 2024 and 12 times higher than at the beginning of 2026. This also marks one of the most aggressive retail buying in technology stocks since the data began. The surge comes as software stocks dropped 33% from their October 2025 peak and posted their worst January since 2008. Meanwhile, Amazon has overtaken Nvidia as the most purchased U.S. stock by retail investors over the last few sessions following its post-earnings decline. Retail investors are betting heavily on software stocks. Oh boy. Okay, here's another one. Oh, library? Yeah, I don't know. Library. I just say library. Yeah, I'm just going to say that. That's usually how I pronounce it. Overbought, oversold indicator. You can easily see the dispersion limaberry. I usually like to say limaberry too sometimes. And you usually see the dispersion here between defensive and software. XLP is the 99.9 percentile of overbought conditions on my proprietary indicator, while IGV, the ETF we just talked about, the software, is in the 0.5 percentile of oversold. We are getting to the point where IGV weakness brings everything down, or Staples strength takes all the laggards up. So XOP is the Staples. So Walmart is the one, right? Dollar Tree, Dollar General, those ones. And we talked about Nestle, Procter and Gamble, Colgate, Palmolive, what other stuff, right? You need your toothpaste, don't you? You need your deodorant. Normally, the determinant of the highly correlated beta move is whether or not the Fed is adding or contracting liquidity. Yesterday, strong NFP suggests the Fed will not be adding liquidity soon. Non-farm payroll, that's what NFP means. Tomorrow we get the CPI, which will be, well, this is old. What was this? Yeah, February 12th. Now, tomorrow we'll get the PCE, all right? We'll get something else tomorrow. And who knows, maybe the Supreme Court will actually say something about tariffs, or maybe we'll have war. I have no clue. High CPI print, and I think we could have an accelerated beta move to the downside. Well, we didn't. It didn't happen last week or whatever, but yeah. Okay, I think that's it. That's it, guys. That's it, guys. We got 2 hours in. Very good. Did you go to D-Dog's chat? I noticed that he banned you recently. No, I haven't been on. I haven't seen any of D-Dog's recent stuff. I haven't been paying attention to anything. Way too busy. Can't care about everything. I mean, what does he stream about now anyway? Like I don't see anything interesting. I think he's just driving around, right, playing music or something. What is he doing? Is he doing his clavicular thing or not? He either does his clavicular thing or like whatever. It's like, bro, we can't be doing this. Either do clavicular or don't do clavicular. I mean, the last thing I know about that thing was he was trying to bug Foreman, right? He was trying to bug Jeremy about collabing. And then all of them basically was like, oh, well, GetCrack will fund you or this and that. And I was like, what the hell? I never said nothing. What? Man, all these assumptions. Everybody assumes something, right? Like, I'm not in contact with any of you guys. Anyway, 99.9% right here. We have XLE, which is energy, 98.7. That's the next best prize. Materials, XLB, 97.6. Yeah, so these are leaders. OIH, oil, gas servicing, OIH. XOP, this is the one we're playing with, right? And then all the way down, yeah, we got NVIDIA, Meta, Apple, ARC, okay. Kathy Woods stuff. Microsoft, pretty bad, huh? FDN and IGV, those two ETFs. Oh man, shoot, yeah, those are the ones I totally tell you guys, like, hey, these guys suck, and somehow semiconductors is lifting the whole S&P 500. Wild, yeah. Clavicular was on Piers Morgan. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard he was on Piers Morgan. He's moving up. Huh? He's getting more and more exposure. Yeah, I think I downloaded this Letty stream, and Letty was being asked about streaming, and I think a lot of people on Kick kind of had the opinion that if you didn't make it already on Kick, you're kind of at a disadvantage, because I think they're all trying to exit out. Like, they're trying to make as much money as they can this year, and they probably are all getting out because they feel like they don't think the streaming stuff will continue much longer, like the easy money days anyway. So a lot of them might feel like it's not even worth it to do this if Kick keeps paying less and less. Like Ice Poseidon, I think, was whining about the Kick pay so far. So yeah, the noose is tightening. So should I care about this Vitali guy or whoever? Like, who is this? So Russian YouTuber, is this the guy? Oh boy. Oh boy. This looks like it's opening another door in hell. Oh, I don't want to watch this. Why do I want to watch this shit? Catch a Predator stuff. I thought that stuff was over. People still do Catch a Predator stuff. Man, didn't one of those Catch the Predator guys catch one of the big donators, pay pigs for Keno Casino at one point? Was that last year? I remember. Yeah, some big pay pig from Keno Casino got caught up in that. So if they keep doing this Catch a Predator stuff, maybe they'll catch Damius, they'll catch me, right? Too, right? D-Dog said I was a PDF. Like every pay pig's a PDF apparently. Oh my god. Holy shit. His content was in prison in a third world jail. Can you rewrite that sentence? Who what? Huh? Who's getting imprisoned in the third world jail? I mean, I know that that Sam, what was that? Sam idiot. What the fuck? That British guy who lives in Thailand and was streaming with Letty, and then he fired off a firecracker, and then some girl got hit with it, so she's blinded in one of her eyes, and whatever. I don't know. He got banned from Kick, and I think he's getting sued or something. I don't see him anymore. The guy who made that like content house that failed within 3 days. Merc the Perk was in that one too. Sam Pepper, I think, right? Pepper was it? Yeah, Pepper. Yeah, okay. Confirmed Pepper. Chomo Casino, yeah. Spent months in a Philippine jail. Oh my god, these people. I mean, yeah, I think the streaming stuff is probably gonna die. Honestly, I don't know. Unless we change the game and we get something else. Hopefully TK will do something. I hope he doesn't quit too early. If we can get him to go to Sweden, see Razor Red, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. TK Travel Channel. That will be really good. I mean, him going to the to the Hoover Dam was like really good, really good. I really liked his whole enthusiasm for traveling. Most people with those travel channels, they fake it. He's legit like happy to go see stuff. So I think like when we take him to other places, he'll be so happy. You can't fake that kind of enthusiasm for too long. People will notice, and so he can keep that up. He's got the energy. Yeah, travel with TK. I think that'll be great. He already has his real ID. Not much work to get the passport, and we got it. We got it going. 290 days in a Filipino jail. That sounds like not fun. So there you go. All right. How about this? How about I end it with another little short here? How do you make money as an e-girl?
Content, or you're someone who wants to be successful doing spicy content, you do not have to be attractive. You guys, I make 40 to 80K a month on the platform, and I've done it consistently. That's the key. Not just the first month that I opened it up, consistently for almost 5 years now. I'm going to tell you everything you need to do. You can be an average looking girl and be so incredibly successful. This is what you need to do. Number one, you cannot be scared of your family and friends seeing you. If you're scared of that, you're not going to be successful. You have to put content on TikTok, Reels, Twitter, Reddit, everything. But this is what a lot of people do that like makes them the biggest mistake. They don't post content that's real and authentic, and they post too much like sexual content, like lingerie stuff or implied nudes. Like, you want the internet to get to know you as a person and be invested in your life, and then seeing you in your birthday suit ends up being like the fun extra thing. You can't just post a picture of you in lingerie and be like, oh, I'm gonna get so many followers. You're not gonna get any followers from that. You're already giving them the stuff to do you know what with. You have to get them invest in your life. So if you like cooking, if you like cars, if you like skiing, if you like whatever it is that you like, just do that and look kind of cute and then mention that you have it, and that is how you grow a following. I'm telling you guys, I'm like a 6. I'm not that cute, but I'm so successful because A, I'm open about my life, and B, I'm humble, and C, I'm just their internet girlfriend. Like, you just have to be their internet girlfriend. Act the way you would act if you were trying to get your crush to like you on social media. Would you be posting like crazy pictures in lingerie? No, you'd be posting cute things that you would think he thinks is cute. That's exactly the model you use for spicy content. Good luck.
Anyway, all right, guys, that's your tip for today. If you want to be e-girl, there you go. Get the simps. 40 G's a month, easy. Man, 40 G's. Oh, why not, right? He's supposed to see Monty too. Well, people say a lot of things. We tried getting Monty, okay? We tried getting Monty out here. We'll see. Those travel channels get sponsors. TK is not sponsor friendly. We are doing a boy travel channel. I don't think we'll ever get real sponsorships, but we'll definitely get pay pigs or female simps. Maybe we'll get that. So we'll see. This is how the world is work. Are you funding it? Yes, I will fund it. I will also be showing up too. So if he ever does that, yeah, I'll come around and try to wrangle him a little bit, try to keep him on track. Hopefully, until we find like someone willing to go with him, a partner. And otherwise, yeah, I'll come along. I haven't traveled in a long time, so maybe. And I was so sick of travel that actually traveling with a travel buddy that like really hasn't traveled before, who's enthusiastic, is probably right. And we're both the same age, so that probably will be a good match. I mean, I really would not like to travel with someone really young or like super old compared to me. So yeah, I think we'll see. I mean, if we make it to that far, like you guys have to I said, like I would go on cam if John Galt made 10,000 subs, which I knew was like gonna be a hard thing to reach. If we're gonna get TK to that level, it's gonna take a while, right? Too. So first, we gotta have some consistencies met. As if he gets being a good desktop streamer, a decent IRL streamer, and then we'll go from there. And once he gets his passport, we can go from there, because I think there's a lot of potential as a to go check out these people. I mean, yeah, Razor Red is really interesting, I think. So I don't know. Since you're on Discord, you can check out her Discord community, see if it's cool. I've heard like it's pretty chill over there, like barely any drama. So yeah, we need somebody who's not quote unquote boy, really somebody who can like kind of ease into this exposure. IRL with too many boy characters, you see what happens. It just implodes. So he is the most consistently inconsistent. He's better than Jeremy being at it. Like at least he's putting in the work, He's upgrading his stuff. His mic is working. Come on. Before, his mic was always trash. Every time he came on, his mic would not work. We haven't had that problem so far, right? See? That's an improvement. Not sure TK can hold a solo stream. That's why I have to be there. You see what I mean? If we can't find a replacement, it was supposed to be Jeremy in my mind. Jeremy was supposed to be the one to balance him out. So if you saw Jeremy's stream tonight, Dark Uncle showed up. He basically was saying what I was saying. So that's why you need that. If we can't have someone balance him out, like have someone with low energy to balance his high energy, then I'll have to kind of do that job, I guess. So we'll see. Stephen David is good, but I assume Stephen David has a wife, right? So unless you want what's her face, Fed Up Southern to come in, chat, and always whine and say like, Stephen David, you meth head, why don't you go? Why don't you back with your wife or something like that? And yeah, I don't know. Go ask Fed Up Southern. She was on there like talking mad shit about Stephen David. I was like, he's a meth head too? He's a what? He has a wife? Huh? Like, all you guys know way too much about each other on Discord, man. All these boy streamers have a full-time yeah, you need that. All right. Anyhow, be sure to watch, check out Universal Jones and Napstar's channel, okay? Because we will have a stream on Napstars. Let me put the date in that damn thing. Fuck, I didn't put a date on it. February 21st. Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't know. Fed Up Southern said he had a wife. I don't know. All these people make up shit. Who knows what it is? Okay, make sure you go there. Anita Bong Hit. That's the channel. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Good night. If anything interesting happens tomorrow, Supreme Court, inflation numbers are crazy out of whack, I'll show up then. Otherwise, nope. I think it's going to be a boring Friday. We're going to have to wait for the weekend for the war to happen, if it ever does happen. All right. See ya. See ya, Diego Garcia.